Everyone thinks the Bermuda Triangle is a supernatural enigma. They're wrong. Sometimes it's just a graveyard. The year is 1945. 5 Avenger torpedo bombers, Flight 19, take off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a routine navigation exercise. It's a clear December afternoon. What began as a simple training flight would quickly spiral into one of aviation's most enduring mysteries. Their mission, a triangular route over the Bahamas, a common training run. Experienced pilots, reliable aircraft. Yet in just a few hours, all 5 planes and the 13 airmen aboard would vanish without a trace. Not a single piece of wreckage was ever found. But Flight 19 wasn't the only aviation tragedy to confound investigators in this notorious region. Just 3 years later, another aircraft, a British South American Airways Star Tiger, would suffer a similar, utterly inexplicable fate. 2 separate incidents, same stretch of ocean, same chilling lack of answers. Let's first delve into the final hours of Flight 19. The flight leader was Lieutenant Charles Taylor, a seasoned pilot with over 500 flight hours. He wasn't a novice. His navigational abilities were considered strong, though he was unfamiliar with the specific area. Around 2:10 p.m. the flight departed. The weather was fair, visibility excellent. The first leg of their journey, east towards the Bahamas, passed without incident. They dropped practice bombs and then turned north, as planned. Then, at approximately 3:45 p.m., a distress call crackled over the radio from Flight 19. Lieutenant Taylor's voice was heard, sounding confused. He reported that both his compasses were out, and he couldn't determine his position. Ground Control at Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale tried to assist. They urged Taylor to switch his radio to emergency frequency. His response indicated growing disorientation. "I don't know where we are. We must have got lost after that last turn." Other pilots in the formation were also heard on the radio, expressing similar confusion and concern. One pilot, later identified as Captain Stivers, suggested turning west, believing they were over the Florida Keys. But Taylor insisted they were over land and should continue east. This internal disagreement, broadcast for all to hear, highlighted the severity of their predicament. Their last clear position, before the compass malfunction, was over the Great Bahama Bank. If they were indeed there, turning west was the correct course to reach Florida. As dusk approached, the situation grew dire. Fuel was running low. The last faint transmissions from Flight 19 suggested increasing panic and confusion. At 7:04 p.m., all contact was lost. The squadron had vanished into the darkening Atlantic. A massive search and rescue operation was immediately launched, but tragedy struck again. One of the search planes, a PBM Mariner flying boat with 13 crewmen, also disappeared that night. Its likely fate, an explosion midair witnessed by a passing ship caused by a fuel vapor leak. Despite extensive searches by air and sea for days, covering thousands of square miles, not a single trace of Flight 19 or its crew was ever found. No oil slicks, no debris, no bodies. It was as if they had simply ceased to exist. Fast forward to January 1948. British South American Airways Flight Star Tiger, a Tudor Roman 4 aircraft, departed Santa Maria in the Azores, bound for Bermuda. On board were 25 passengers and 6 crew members. The flight was uneventful for the first few hours. The Star Tiger was a relatively new aircraft, known for its comfortable transatlantic flights. The pilot, Captain B.W. Macmillan, was highly experienced. The weather was fair, though strong headwind forecasts were expected to delay their arrival. At 3:15 a.m., January 30th, Captain Macmillan radioed Bermuda, requesting a bearing. He reported their position to be 380 miles northeast of Bermuda and that they were flying at 2,000 feet. This was the last direct communication received from the Star Tiger. Bermuda Air Traffic Control attempted to contact the aircraft an hour later at 4:15 a.m., expecting an updated position report. There was no response. Subsequent attempts also failed. The Star Tiger had vanished, just like Flight 19. Again, a massive search operation was launched. Ships and aircraft scoured thousands of square miles of ocean. For 5 days, the search continued, but yielded nothing. No wreckage, no oil, no life rafts. The Star Tiger, its passengers, and crew simply disappeared. The official investigation into the Star Tiger's disappearance was equally inconclusive. The final report by the British Air Ministry stated, "It may be said that no more baffling problem has ever been encountered in the history of civil aviation." So what happened? For Flight 19, the most accepted theory points to Lieutenant Taylor's navigational error. Unfamiliar with the area, he likely misidentified islands as the Florida Keys, leading him to fly further out to sea rather than towards land. The compass failures, combined with the onset of dusk and dwindling fuel, created a perfect storm for disaster. The planes eventually ran out of fuel and ditched into the rough Atlantic, breaking up on impact or sinking quickly in deep water. For the Star Tiger, the explanations are more varied. A sudden catastrophic structural failure, perhaps due to metal fatigue exacerbated by the strong headwinds, is one possibility. Another is a rapid, uncontrollable decompression, incapacitating the crew. Yet another theory suggests an issue with the aircraft's fuel system or an engine malfunction, leading to a controlled or uncontrolled ditching. The lack of wreckage makes definitive conclusions impossible, but natural and mechanical failures remain the most probable causes. The Bermuda Triangle, stretching from Florida to Bermuda and Puerto Rico, is an incredibly busy shipping and aviation route. With millions of flights and voyages passing through, a small percentage of disappearances, while tragic, can be statistically explained. The deep trenches and unpredictable weather patterns of the Atlantic in this region further complicate search efforts. A plane going down in deep water leaves little trace. The ocean is a vast, unforgiving place, and sometimes it simply swallows its secrets whole. Next, we unravel the chilling mystery of another famous aviation ghost story, Amelia Earhart.